Ugh.
Good.
Jesus. Yeah, good enough.
We're great. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Conscious Cowboys podcast. We have Madison and Tess, and I did say the whole name this time because we were MIA for a week, sort of, but we're happy to be back, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We needed that break. We were talking about how beneficial it was for us to just have a week that was relatively mellow, and so we feel better now.
Yeah, we have been podcasting straight for over 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
And so it felt really weird to have taken a week off, honestly, even though we did release an episode. It was like a 3-minute episode or something really short. It felt weird to not be now, especially because we're doing 2 a week. I don't know. I was just like, I feel like we don't even have a podcast anymore.
I know, which is weird because it's so much of our identity at this point. You know, like we were talking about the other day, we were just like, what would we be doing with our time if we didn't have Cowboys? Obviously, we would learn how to fill it, but
yeah, but all of our free time at this point seems like
for the most part
to Cowboys.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But we hope everyone had a great week. We're back, we're ready, and to start off on a light note, just to get the conversation flowing, is Tess and I have been finding ourselves, and I don't know if this happens to anyone else probably, but we have been reliving, in a sense, our high school selves, but in our late 20s now.
And can you elaborate on that? Like, what does that mean?
Okay, for example, I mean, there's so many things, but as an example that's pretty tangible is this last weekend, Tess was driving, I was in the passenger seat, and there's about 8 others in Tess's Subaru. Okay, it obviously seats 5. Yeah, and so I'm sitting on someone's lap. There are a bunch of people in the back and in the trunk, and we were just listening to the same songs that I would listen to when I was like 17, and it was just so reminiscent of that. I was just like, oh my God. And also we obviously live in the town that we grew up in, so that's like particular to our situation, but it was just so weird. Just like sit there and be like, whoa, I've done this before, but it's years later. Yeah. A decade later, actually.
And it even is more enhanced for me because the people that I had in the back of my
car were actually your friends in high school.
Yeah, were people that I grew up with and went to high school with and would drive around and like pack into my car. So yeah, I definitely feels. And of course, because we were like going out and stuff too, it being like a party scene situation layered into that makes you feel even younger.
Oh, you know? But then, and then you're not. And it's just like, wow, this is interesting. It's an interesting feeling.
Yeah, I always thought like as an adult that going
I
out
wouldn't
and
be doing that.
would look so different. And for the most part, they do.
Yeah.
But every once in a while when we have a night like that, it feels truly like our 17, 18-year-old selves. Yes.
And to go through that but you have such different tools and are at different places in our lives now. But just, it's odd. Yeah. I like it. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Maybe not every night.
Yeah, it's
but
like every once in a while.
That was cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
We something that came up for us recently, and I wonder if anybody else feels this. I know that one other friend of mine can for sure like scream over this, but we're talking about a game we used to play. Actually, there's multiple games we used to play in high school.
Oh my God.
Toontown and Sims.
Oh, dude. Okay, yeah. Me and Tess, we were talking about.
Like, I can't even say it without.
No, it's embarrassing. So I don't even think you pronounce it right. Toontown. Let me just say.
Oh,
okay.
What did it sound
I thought you were like Toontown, like super quick.
I think I did. I tried to like glaze over it because it's so embarrassing. My eyes are watering over it. It's not good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it was in the early part of high school, I would say, is when we played that.
Yeah,
like
but there's
maybe
like
even
a
junior high. I don't know.
Or like a monster that you have to beat, and they're called boss bots.
Dude, like, the fact that you remember that name is actually impressive.
Yeah, but we talked about it this past week, and we even had to Google it so that we could see the graphics from the computer game again, because it just brought back so many memories.
Yeah, and we were laughing together because that's yet another thing that we did the same when we were kids, but we obviously weren't friends at that time. And then we played Sims, and we were laughing because we would always make our Sims have sex. Like, I'm so happy I was not the only one that did that. No. I'm like, I'm weird.
No. I think everybody, if you fucking played Sims and you were a kid, you always, that was an option in the game.
I know.
What do they call it? It wasn't woo woo. It was.
And they were always like, I don't know.
It was something like a the same word twice over.
Okay,
it might have been woo-woo.
You might be right.
But you would make, like, that would be an option. Like, you'd click on your characters, and then the drop-down menu was, like, basically to make them have sex.
And I'm like, yes. Yeah. Yeah. First option, absolutely. I feel like they limited how many times you could have sex, right?
Yeah. And then you end up having a baby.
That's right.
So that does
I had a lot of
teach you.
kids. Yeah.
It's just funny to relive those things. And that's funny how randomly it comes up.
I know. And then we were talking about how special it is to relive those moments with your friends because it takes you out of, like, we just had a hectic week and it was so nice to just laugh about that. It was so simple.
It lightens the mood so much.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And yeah. Also, this brings us to our other point. We're just like, we're flowing. We're quick.
We're all for it.
Quick today. Another thing that we were talking about is we were in a funk last week and the weekend before that. And it's interesting how things, like how quickly things can change. Like one event can happen that's super small and then like the trajectory of everything after that is different. And I think that that's very comforting, which we all know this, but I think that it is comforting that even if you're going through a rough patch, like lighter things are around the corner, you know? Like, it's very helpful. I'm just like, oh, things can change that fast. Okay, so this shittiness is not forever, which we've talked about. We have. I'm very, like, sometimes like a doomsdayer. I'm like, this is it. This is forever. And then I can snap out of it. And I'm like, nah.
I mean, it's very pleasant to know that good things are right around the corner. But when you're in it, like, honestly, guys, last week, oh my God. It's just like, obviously we knew it was going to improve.
Oh, it was so bad though.
But it was frustrating because it seemed like it was just taking forever to get there.
Yes.
I'm like, no, I know that it's like, I'm ready to feel better. But like, for some reason, I just couldn't actually make it happen.
Yeah. And isn't that weird? Like I say that often to myself. I'm like, no, I know that like we're out of this phase. Like this lesson, I'm done learning it. So let's like get it together, universe or outside forces. Like let's fucking go. And then it lingers for a little bit. And I'm like, I seriously like I'm tired of saying this is going to go away. It's fine. But then it doesn't. I'm like, there's obviously some blockage there.
I don't know. It almost felt like a mood I couldn't move through.
I could not, like, it was hard. It's fucking hard. It was not right. I'm just saying it was
just
really
a moment of silence for the week we had. For us to take a week off of podcasting, to me, really shows where we were at. And it, of course, wasn't just one thing that did it for us. It was a combination of all these things, like, added up. Mm-hmm. But shit. I was so proud of us. I was like, oh yeah, we don't ever take a week off. And like, it would really take a lot for us to take a week off. And then there we were.
Yeah. And then like here, we know the definition of a lot, like to ourselves now. Okay.
It is funny though, when you're having a tough time and you kind of come out on the other side of it, you're really able, I mean, this is what we do, but you're really able to look back and pinpoint like, okay, what is causing that feeling that we experienced, and going forward, how are we going to try to avoid that again? Or like, what did we learn here?
Yes. We always do that. Like we always take something away from a situation.
In the recent documentary that came out called Stutz is what it's called, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's Jonah
with Jonah Hill.
He's interviewing his therapist. It's like all
Phil
about
Stutz.
Yeah. We cried multiple
times.
times.
So good. I watched it twice.
Yeah. But they talk about that. So basically Phil Stutz is his therapist, and in the documentary they go through kind of the tools that he's given Jonah and how he gives like all of his patients this, and like all the different ways that he helps people navigate through a shitty time or just like get out of their own way. And that is, I don't remember the technical term for it or like what he calls it, but I laughed because when we were watching it, I turned to Madison. I was like, oh, I kind of get hard on myself. Sometimes I feel like I always find a way to like make light of a shitty situation. But then sometimes I get hard on myself because I think, well, am I not actually experiencing it fully? Or like, am I not taking the lessons away because I'm just trying to find like the positive here and move on from a feeling? But then that's, as he was explaining, I'm like, okay, no, it is a very beneficial tool to have in my belt.
Yeah.
Of like, you do this too. Like we just try to find a way through it and get to the other side versus sitting in our shit.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to sit in your shit.
Yeah. And I think I do them simultaneously. Like I do sit in my shit, but then I also can like talk myself out of it in a sense, or like tell myself that that's okay because I am finding a solution or I'm finding the lesson. So yeah, I probably do both at the same time. Just like I think it's really interesting that you can be both sad and happy. Like I remember I heard that in like a movie when I was a kid and I was like, I don't get that. But as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, I can be sad but also find happiness.
Yeah.
And like there's a bunch of other like
little combinations of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's just a very interesting.
Yeah, and of course, okay, maybe someone else feels this too, but like when you know that you have like I want to paint a picture of like we have like an open issue, right? Like it's I can't solve it. There's nothing I can really do to make the situation better. Sometimes I feel guilty of like being happy and finding joy outside of that situation, like because something is so big and heavy in our lives, it feels weird to like carry on. But then I know that we have to, and by me carrying on, maybe it shines a light and illuminates a path for someone else in my life who's in the same boat to be like, okay, no, we can still like find moments of joy. We can still take care of ourselves and carry on as much as normal. Like, I mean, as best as we can is maybe what I'm trying to say, while we still are dealing with like this open-ended issue.
Yeah, I definitely used to struggle with that a lot. And even sometimes, because then you're just like, no, I'm supposed to be sad right now. Like things are not going well. But yeah, why not bring happiness to the situation? Yeah, this last week when we were just going through it, I always, which just reminds me of the Stutz documentary. You guys really need to watch it. And maybe if you journal, like bring it with you because it's really amazing. He has like a lot of good tools.
He said journaling is one of the best ways
to connect to yourself.
And I mean, we all know that, but I feel like I needed to hear it from him.
Yeah, same. I did. I was like, okay, he's a professional and he's older than we are. Like that. And he also said it in such a concise way, that I was like, oh yeah, that is why I like to do it.
I want to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Not today because I don't want to cry today.
I know. That's what I said is because Tess came into the living room and when we watch TV at night, like later at night, like 8 something. And she came in and she was like, oh yeah, there's this documentary that Jonah Hill did. And I was like, oh yeah, I watched that already, but we shouldn't watch right now. And then she's like, oh, okay.
Well, I was bummed because I'm like, well, not only have you already watched it without me. Sad.
Yeah, you don't want to watch it right now. Okay. And I was like, no, it's just not for right now. And it was because it was like nighttime and I didn't want to be like crying and having like this thought-provoking piece that we're watching. Like it was time
and then try to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, no, it's just not for right now. And she's like, okay.
And then when I watched it, it made all the sense in the world. I was like, thank you for not allowing me to watch that last night. I would have spiraled.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, no. We need to watch Below Deck and like not think about anything. Yeah.
Which on that note, really quick, we've gone through so many seasons of Below Deck. We had to start at square one. We're literally watching the first season of Below Deck ever.
2012.
Tell us that we're not desperate.
It's like desperate give us a little reassurance. And they really went hard. Like one of the characters, I'll say, on the show, she just is so gnarly. I am just shocked that people behave in such a way. But they really brought out all the stops for that first season. They're like, you guys, the show's gonna be it, so stick with us.
I wonder why I got picked up again,
Yeah, exactly, because of that. It's not good. But yeah, I was saying something about the Stutz documentary and then we got off on a whole thing, but I like actually forgot it. It's not good. I like fully don't remember. Oh, I do remember now. Is that Jonah was talking about how he was afraid to lose Phil, his therapist. And then it made me think, I know. Then it made me think about so how, like this last week when we were going through it, I spent like a lot of time with my dad because he's always like the solid foundation that I need to be around because his energy is just calming. And then I was like, oh man, like made me think about my dad and like losing him. Not to talk about that, but I was just like, oh, it's going to be interesting to have to go through life without my dad. Like when I have issues, I'm like, oh shit, like I rely on my friends and like if I have a husband or whatever, but it'll just be interesting to navigate without him because he's such like a prominent figure when I'm going through something or like healing. Yeah.
And hopefully at that point we can find our own Phil Stutz.
Holy shit. Yeah. Or like I am the guru and I'm just like, dude, you got this.
Nah, gurus need gurus.
Yeah,
though, right?
That's actually true. Yeah, I know. Yes. And I feel like even another thing that I learned about myself, sorry, there's like a literal fuzz on the couch.
The fact that you couldn't ignore it shows so much of your personality.
I kept staring at it and I was like, that needs to come off.
Did you put it on the floor?
I was trying to put it on the table.
You know better.
No, I see it. We'll get it. It's a string.
Yeah.
I think it's like a string from my shirt. But
we're doing great.
One thing, one thing that I remembered that I learned from this last week is that which I said this already, is that I isolate when I'm going through something, and I'm fine with doing that, but too much isolation is not good for me, and I don't think it's good for most people. So I had to be with people, and like being with my dad and family like was very beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and this past week really showed me what I value the most in my life right now, because when I felt like things were kind of falling off the wagon, like I didn't realize how much I cared about certain relationships in my life, or like, I don't know, certain people, until it felt like unstable. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then when it felt unstable, I started going, oh shit, like I don't like this at all. And it really is so interesting how dependent we are on the relationships in our life. Yeah. Even if you're a more solitary person and you kind of spend majority of your time alone, the relationships in your life really do hold so much weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because and when things go awry, it's so fucked.
It's so not good. Like I definitely need the people that I have in my life. Mm-hmm. And I am definitely more introverted, but it is so nice to have that connection with other people, even if it's like the initial wave of like, oh fuck, I have to like hang out with people right now and I'm not feeling it. Doesn't feel good, but it's usually worth it. And I think that was advice that Phil gave in the documentary too, is he was like, yeah, even if you have no interest in, this is not verbatim, but I feel like I think I remember this, is he was like, even if you don't have interest in getting coffee with this someone, like it'll immediately like pull you out of that bullshit that you're in.
Right.
Yeah. Cause he was like, connection is so important, which we preach all the time.
It's like the foundation of Cowboys, honestly.
Absolutely. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense though about the isolation thing. And I feel like also just getting out of our way and being around other people and doing and like bringing up little things that remind us of our past and things like that, they all helped get us out of our funk.
Totally.
Like if we hadn't used every fucking tool we had, I feel like we might have still lingered in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We did pull out all the stops. Yeah.
It's gnarly. I'm so glad we're out of it. We don't even have to go into detail further on that, but it does feel nice to have gotten through that funk.
Yeah.
I'm sad when they come, and then when they're over, I'm like, okay, that just shows me how happy I am majority of the time.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh. So cheers to that, coming out of funks, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else do we have planned?
That was really all on my list.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we came back, last week when we said we're going to take a week off, we had planned on coming back strong and like stronger than ever with 2 episodes in this whole thing. And I'm not really sure. We'll see if we get there, but
we will definitely see. I'm thinking that maybe it's just 1
this week.
Yeah.
And then it might be 2
I think we knew that it was going to be 1 though.
Yeah. And I talked about this with someone today in regards to like physical health too, was she had like blown out her knee, and then she's been going through physical therapy and is now coming back to work out. And she's like, I just feel like I fell off the wagon in like my terms of strength and my dedication to my practice. And now I'm just like, I'm hitting it hard. I signed up for a class every day this week, and I signed up for another membership at another place. And she was going on and on about how hard she's going to return. Mm-hmm. And I like grabbed her and I said, I am so impressed by your motivation. Honestly, that's badass. Stay on it. But also give yourself a little grace, because you might hit the ground running and then you might get winded because it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And you might just want to peel back, and maybe you keep your classes booked for this week, but honor if you need to take a step back, then you just do it.
Yeah, and that's good. That's
really
good.
Easy to give advice to someone else, and especially when it comes to physical stuff, because it's like, well, obviously if you're tired, then you just don't keep going. But when it comes to us and like our creative project and our commitment to it, it can feel a little bit harder to listen to that message ourselves because we want it so bad.
Yeah.
And it feels wrong to not do it. But then I think quality over quantity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because even last week we recorded an episode, and we obviously the background, if you've been watching regularly on YouTube, is different today. And we've moved our whole couch like over to another wall. And we did that last week, and we recorded an episode, and it just was not it. And that's when we were like, okay, maybe we need to take a break. And yeah, I mean, I think that was a proper break. I even can relate it to my neck injury of like, I've been really intentional about going slowly into working out and anything that has to do with like my shoulders and things.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Cause typically I would be like that. I'm like, I'm healed. I'm going to go hard. And then it just happens all over again. And I'm like, oh my God, why'd that happen? But now I know. Now I know. Maybe I'll mess up in 2 years from now and just, do that again. But for now, going easing slow into things.
It's the only way.
Because slow is steady, right?
Yeah. And then you start to build like a consistency there. Mm-hmm. And you trust yourself and you realize that going hard right out of the gate doesn't always lead to the best results. And it can hinder you. Yeah. You can fuck up pretty quick.
Yeah. Like more is not always more. We say that all the time now. And I feel still like very strong in my body, even if I'm working out less because of injury or being burnt out.
Yeah.
So I also like to see that because I'm like, okay, good. So the previous belief that I had of like more is better, like work out 7 days a week, no breaks, is not true in my body. And I like that.
Not on a physical level, even on this level. Like more is not always more.
Yeah.
We don't have to push.
Yeah, we don't have to saturate the market even more for podcasts if we're just talking about bullshit we don't care about just to put out an episode.
Right.
Not true to us.
It comes from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And we put a lot of work into this, so just got to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
Like we always say. Yeah.
I think that wraps it up for this week.
It really does. I'm proud of us. Good job.
Good job on moving the couch. Hopefully we didn't blow anything out.
Oh my God. When we were picking up the couch, Tess is like, we both picked it up and I'm like, dude, I forgot how heavy this was. She's like, go fast.
It was literally, I felt like my shoulder was going to hang out of my socket.
It's not good. You would not expect this to be heavy, but is wrong. Yeah. Damn.
Just an awkward shape, I think, too.
That is why. You need a third person. Could ask our neighbor.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I always wonder what the inside of other people's places look like. When we walk by their doors, I'm like, trying to catch a
Yeah,
seat.
seriously, like walk through it slowly. We're just like,
not even in terms of furniture, but just like layout and everything.
Yeah, me too. Every time someone's moving in and the door like has to be open because they're moving their shit in, we like try to peek open in the door. And I'm like, dang, we tried to do that last week and I got scared like someone was going to be in there. But I feel like I have a perfect excuse now. Or I'd just be like, oh, we just wanted to see if everything was okay. Like the door was open. Like, is there anyone else? Is there someone in here that's not supposed to be in here?
Oh, that's a great.
Then it's just like, oh, we're like trying to help out. But it's like, no, we just want to see inside your apartment.
That's a good lie, Madison. Yeah. Good job.
Well, isn't it? I'm just like, I was trying to come up with like something.
It really is. I'm not being sarcastic. Okay. I'm just saying like, cheers.
Yeah, I just want to be like, is everything okay? Good. Like the door was open. Oh, okay, you guys are in here? Great. Mm-hmm. Let's just look around. Okay, cool.
Like when we got in trouble for hopping the fence at Hearst Castle.
Yeah.
Like we just wanted to make sure the zebras were fine. Okay? We were just making sure.
Yeah, right.
She's like, get the fuck off the fence.
Yeah. Also for context for that is we were taking photos one time by the Hearst Castle and they have like obviously a huge property and there are these zebras and it was beautiful. And Tess is like, let's just like go sit on the fence. And there's like a million signs that say, don't sit on the fence. And I'm like, you guys, I don't know if this is a really good idea. She's like, stop, like you're being a baby. And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll go on. Well, she's like, it's really quick, no one's gonna see.
Did I say you were being a baby?
You said something. You guys were really trying to talk me into it. And I was like, fuck, like I don't give into peer pressure ever, but like maybe I am being a little bit of a pussy, you know? So then we go and sit on the fence and literally as we sit on the fence, a car pulls up with a guard that says, hey guys, like you're not supposed to be on the fence. And I'm like,
you guys need to get down right now. Yeah.
Like looking at them, I'm like, I fucking told you. Like, come on.
I was sad because I try to encourage her to do stuff like that a lot. And a lot of the times it works out. We don't get caught. We don't get in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. But that time, I was like,
it was less than 30 seconds.
It was, yeah, like
was
crazy.
She waiting, looking at
seriously.
Like,
it seemed that way. Or they like drive by that like every 2 minutes or something. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, there's that. Okay, now we're really going to go.
Yeah. Also, okay, last thing is that I thought this was funny. On Saturday, we went out to this bar in town and Tess and I were wearing like the most mellow outfits, which I always love, you know, like I'm wearing a jean jacket and fucking pants and she's wearing a sweater and pants.
Which was maybe my worst call ever. I'm sorry, hold on. I know you need to finish your story. Don't wear like a fuzzy sweater if you're going out somewhere.
If you're going out, it's fine. It's if you're dancing,
okay,
you can't.
Yeah. I didn't realize that we were going to be tearing up the dance floor. And I don't like when we dance, we don't just like we dance, you know?
Like fucking.
Yeah, we're getting it. And I got really warm in the sweater, let's just say.
And Tess like runs warm, I feel. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a good call. But I just love that we're like very mellow with like our outfits. Of course we can be not mellow like a lot of the time actually, but I just love it. We go out to a bar in like sweaters and like jean jackets that cover our entire body.
You know what someone said to me? Because I've been wearing really baggy clothes lately just because it's more comfortable and I'm into the vibe right now. And
yeah, like same. I'm wearing like the biggest t-shirt and like a actual turtleneck.
Yeah. And someone was like, oh my God, I had like lifted up my shirt and they said, oh, I didn't realize like how small you were. Like your clothes are so big. Like I didn't realize that you were small under there. And I started laughing. And the girl that I'm friends with and that I was working with, she's like, yeah, she's a gentleman's dream. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, like from the outside, no one knows what's going on under there. But then, you know, beneath it all, it's not bad.
Yeah, I feel like it's fucking great. I feel like I have it's like either I'm wearing a crop top and like a lot of skin is showing, or I'm wearing clothes that a boy would wear.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
Pretty little gray
The contrast is really nice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It depends on my mood. We talked about this in one of the like body image episodes when we talked about some days I get up and I just feel like the only thing I could possibly put on today is a big baggy shirt. Mm-hmm. Like anything that shows any bit of skin, I'm not going to feel okay in. And then some days I'm like, I'm ready to go grocery shopping
I literally in a bikini. Absolutely. Yeah. And I used to, like when I was younger and for so many years, like not be okay with wearing clothes that didn't show a lot of my body because I felt like my face like wasn't pretty enough. And so I needed to show my body. And now I don't feel that way. And I like that a lot. If you don't know what Madison looks like and you just listen to the podcast, please go on Instagram and look at Madison's face and be like, how the hell did you ever think that way about yourself? That is shocking to my system. That's why I had nothing to say back because I'm like, you actually thought that you weren't good looking. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It's
the mind
sickening.
plays really sick tricks on us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It can. If you're not careful, it can play really sick tricks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, last thing I'll say is about the going out in jean jackets is I've always forget to say this on the podcast. I don't think I've ever said this, but one of my best friends, Nina, if you're listening, you'll know this story because you were there with me, is that me and Nina were going out to a bar in LA. I can't remember. Oh, at the Ace Hotel. It's like this rooftop bar, whatever. And her and I were both wearing jean jackets and jeans. And this guy kept trying to hit on me. And I was just like, no, like not interested. Like, please get the fuck away from me. I'm like, no. And then Nina comes up from behind me, wherever she was. And she's like, okay, like, dude, let's go. Because she could see me struggling. Yeah. And he looks at me. He's like, of course you guys are gay. You're wearing jean jackets. And I'm like, dude, that has stuck with me as like one of the funniest things anyone has ever said to me. Like, he's so upset that I wasn't into it. He's like, you have to be gay because that's why you're not saying yes to me.
And what is a jean jacket?
I know. So then every time I wear a jean jacket, I think of that comment. I'm just like, you can think I'm gay. I don't give a fuck.
It doesn't mean, oh my God.
No, it was an iconic moment. Truly, I will never forget.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not into
Good
me,
shit.
you must not.
You
even
must
play
be
for my
gay.
team. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's what we'll leave you with.
Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Savor that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So guys,
it's
until
pretty
next
funny.
week.
Yay. Talk soon.
Okay, bye.
For sure not doing another episode until next week.
I'm calling it.
Yeah, okay. See ya. Love you.